Oh, hello everyone. Jules here from Live and Let's Dice. Don't know why I did that. That was a bit weird. But look at this. What's on my table today? My lovely white table of 2 books. It's 2 books. Whoa. Okay, and what have we got here? We've got the Bonereapers, but I've already covered their Battletome in the previous video. What's this on the other side? Oh, we've got the Mawtribe. The big rumbly tumbly buggers. Well, let's get rid of the Bone Boys today because we've already covered them. Sorry, boys. There you go. Ooh. You all right? And let's talk about the Mawtribe today. The ever-hungry ogres have come down from the mountains and they are pissed, let me tell you. Because while this bone tithe and feast of bones has been going on, these guys haven't been happy. Now the sort of story towards what's going on between this is that the tithe of bones means that the Bonereapers have been coming along and saying, listen, you better pay up and give us some of your dead's bones, or we'll cut off a hand, or whatever it is. You got some debts to settle, and we'll leave you alone for a few years. And up until this point, apparently, the ogres have been playing ball. They've been saying, look, we usually like to eat a lot of the stuff that comes our way. And yes, sometimes that is the bones. You can have what's in the poop. You can literally sift through if you want. But this one tribe that's kickstarted this whole thing has basically just said, no, enough is enough. We want all the bones. The bones are ours. We will eat them again. I don't really know why they want them, because I haven't actually read all the backstory to them yet. But still, they want them, and that's causing a lot of problems. Now, if you're an Ogres fan, which Mikey is, hence why he's going to be collecting this army, you'll know that they are hard-hitting, they are often slow-moving, they are an elite army, which means you only have to field about sort of 10 of them in order to get like 1,000 points, which is great for transportation and those, I wouldn't say on a budget, but if you can swing it into 1 or 2 models, it means you only have to paint a few as well, which is pretty good. But having this now means that they're combining all of the old models from Fantasy with some brand new ones as well. And I'm very excited because it makes them feel like they're relevant again, like some real love's been going on. The Battle Box, the Feast of Bones, means that there's a great chance for people who've never played as them before to get stuck in and get chomping on some foes. So let's have a look inside and see what we've got. What I'll do, as I did before, is just show you a little few pictures and stuff like that of what's going on, a brief overview of who's who and who to look out for in the coming months, because remember, not all of the models are out yet. Then I will show you a few, not all, of all of the battle data and the battle cards from these guys, because, as I keep saying, I don't want Games Workshop to take away all of my toys. And they say, don't do it, Jules. We've warned you. And I go, I know. The boys keep telling me. I know. So yeah, let's have a look at those, shall we? So as we all know, once you've picked an army, you can then go and specialize it a bit further into different tribes. And there are actually quite a few. You've got your lovely Meat Fist Mawtribe, great name there. You've got your Blood Gullet Mawtribe over there. And then you've got Underguts, which just sound brilliant. You've got the Boulder Head Mawtribe, which I'm assuming going to be hard-hitting. You've got the Thunderbellies, I remember them. And the Winter Bite, which I'm assuming is going to combine some more of these sort of ogres on the Tuscadon style things that were from before. But who will lead your army? Well, I'll tell you for who will lead, and it's going to be a Tyrant. Tyrants are the leaders of this. They are the biggest, the bloatiest, and the biggest bashing boys you can find on the battlefield, and they are absolutely terrifying. But maybe not so much as those who are joining under butchers, because I literally had the words taken out of my mouth with looking at that picture. That's all shades of disgusting. You've got Slaughter Masters, you've got Butcher Gollops, you've got the Ogre Gluttons, the Nobblers, brilliant. And you've got the Iron Guts as well. It's just, they're just so much fun, these guys. What it is a load of mad fat lads descending from the icy wastes with their goblin pals and just having a laugh. They just want to eat everything. And I can totally respect that. It's kind of like the antithesis of fat shaming. This is fat cheering. Chubby cheering. It's chubby cheering. I mean, just look at some of these models. I know that some of them have been out before, but look at this Meat Fist Tyrant. He's one of the new models that's come out in the Battle Box. I just love the way that he looks both absolutely threatening, but he's got so much personality in it as well. And if you look very closely, you can see that he's wearing a flayed skin skirt. Oh, it's nasty. But not as nasty as the Meat Fist Slaughter Master over here, who drags behind him a bubbling cauldron of viscera that's being stirred by a goblin, or the Meat Fist Butcher over here that literally looks like Leatherface. You tell me that they didn't get that from looking at Leatherface. These gluttons here make up the backbone of your army. You'll only need about sort of 20 of them and you will be literally running at nearly max capacity. And these guys over here are the Iron Guts, who are kind of like the more elite and heavy hitting versions of the regular guys there. But oh my goodness, look at the characterization on these man-eaters. I know that some of them have been seen before, like the ninja one over here. In fact, they might all not be new models. I can't actually tell because I didn't collect ogres, but you tell me that the idea of having a pirate ogre with it using a sharpened anchor as a weapon, or this guy, look how evil he looks. How much fun do these characters look? Damn man, these look so cool. Holy crap. Look at this. Look at the fire belly. Look at that. That is an insane model. I love the amount of effort they put in to the new models. They make them so that you don't just feel like you want to buy them, you feel like you need to buy them. It hits into that core of just being a pristinely designed model. Right, well let's crack on and look at the allegiance abilities then. So here we go. All right, mate. Getting close, there we go. Trampling charge. After an ogre or Rhinox unit makes a charge move, you can pick one enemy unit within 1 inch of this unit and roll a number of dice equal to the unmodified charge roll for that charge move. Add 2 to each roll of the ogre if the ogre unit that made the charge move has 8 or more models or is a monster. For each 6 up, that unit suffers a mortal wound. So you could effectively take out nearly an entire line of infantry just by charging in. Start your hero phase, roll 1 dice for each enemy unit, which is in 3 inches of a Beastclaw Raiders. If the roll is equal to or less than the number of current battle round, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Brilliant, so they bring that sort of grasping winter with them. Might makes right, classic sort of Orky reference over here. When determining control of an objective, each ogre counts as 2 models instead of 1. An ogre monster counts as 10 models. That kind of makes up for the fact that they are going to be a much smaller army to face against, which I was quite worried about because I'm glad that they put in a rule that makes that very clear. If an ogre is more than 3 inches away from enemy units, it is hungry. If an ogre unit is within 3 inches of any enemy units, it is eating. Add 2 to the move characteristics of a unit that is hungry, add 2 to the bravery characteristics of a unit that is eating. So it gets them into battle quicker and then makes them stay longer. That's brilliant. Now here's the interesting one. In addition to spells, they also get Everwinter prayers. So each of the Beastclaw Raider priests knows 1 Everwinter prayer, and you can make them by rolling them in the same way that you would do to cast a spell. And it can only be attempted once per turn, regardless of how many Beastclaw Raider priests know that Everwinter prayer. So that kind of limits how many sort of like spamming you can do on that, which is pretty good. And then, as I said down here before, you've got your different sort of tribes, and each of them will have a special ability. We'll look at a few of them in a second, but you have to dedicate which one your battalion's going to be. Just a side note on here, on the Path to Glory section that's included in all the Battletomes, I love that they're clearly so powerful that if you chose to take a Frostlord on Stonehorn or Thundertusk, you get 0 rolls. You just get him on his own. Hungry and angry. Fantastic. Right, so let's take a look at what everyone is really interested in, and that is the profiles of all of the characters. Let's start with the Tyrant, as I did before with the Bonereapers, because this guy looks like he's gonna pack a punch. There we go. There's the Tyrant. So he's got a move of 6, 8 wounds, 4 up saves, and 8 bravery. He's got pistols, which have a range of 12, 2 attacks, 4s to hit, 3s to wound, -1 rend, D3 damage. And he's also got a Thunder Mace, a Beast Skewer Glaive, and a Gulping Bite. The Beast Skewer Glaive, an unmodified hit roll for an attack made with the Beast Skewer Glaive that targets a hero, is a 6. The Beast Skewer Glaive has a damage characteristic of D6 instead of D3 for the attack. Woof. Big name. Usually adopts a big name based on their most renowned traits. When you select this unit to be a part of your army, you can choose one or roll one of the following. Oh, so it's like a warlord trait sort of thing. So the big name is Death Cheater, wound characteristic of 9 instead of 8. Brawler Guts. You can add 1 to the wound rolls for attacks made by this model if they made a charge. Model has a save characteristic of 3 up instead of 4 up for Fate Seeker. Long Strider. Can move characteristic of 8 instead of 6. Giant Breaker, add 1 to the damage inflicted by this model's weapons when they are used by attacking a monster. Or Wall Crusher, you can re-roll 1 wound roll for 1 attack made with 1 melee weapon each time this model attacks. In addition, you can re-roll wound rolls for the attacks made with this melee weapon by this model that target a unit as part of a garrison. Woof! And finally, you've got Thunder Mace over here, which is if the unmodified roll for this is a 6, it inflicts 1 mortal wound in addition to any normal damage. If the target unit has more than 3 models, on an unmodified 6, that attack inflicts D3 mortal wounds instead of 1. So if you chuck a horde at this guy trying to slow him down, it doesn't sound like it's gonna work, brother. And he's hitting and wounding on 3s. 3s and 3s is like the best you can get in this game. With -2 rend as well and 3 damage for the Thunder Mace, that is powerful. And his command ability is Bully of the 1st degree. You pick 1 friendly Gutbusters unit, and they suffer D3 mortal wounds, but you do not have to take battle shot tests. It's kind of like the keep in order rule that the knobs have in 40k. Now this is the thing, because I was very, very interested in the man-eaters before, just because I enjoyed the thought of an ogre pirate. Let's have a look at them. So they've got a move of 6, wound of 4, save up of 5, and bravery 7. They've got pistols and throwing stars, because remember, one of them is a ninja. And yeah, they've got a range of 12, 1 attack, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, -1 rend, D3 damage. Pretty impressive there. Slashers and or bashers, range 1, 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1 rend, 2 damage, and gulping bites, as I said before, is just their sort of standing attack, which is basically just like, when they've run out of all their arms, they'll just use their mouths. But I love their ability here, been there, done that. After armies have been set up before the first battle round begins, picks 1 ability to apply to this unit from the following lists. Brawlers, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made with melee weapons by this unit. Crack shots, you can reroll hits of 1 for attacks made by missile weapons with this unit. Striders, this unit can run and charge later in the turn. Or stubborn, do not take battle shot tests for this unit. Now, as a bravery of 7, that stat isn't great, but I don't think that I would see many people choose stubborn. Instead, I feel like striders, getting them into battle the quickest, would probably be the best route for them. But only time will tell. Let's look at one more. Who should we choose? Who should we choose? Because a lot of these are from the Beastclaw Raiders, so I'm going to try and pick a new one. Let's have a look at the... should we go for the Iron Blaster? Because the Iron Blaster looks pretty cool, doesn't it? So let's look at the Iron Blaster here. So we've got... it is a massive cannon that they've just basically scrapped together. It's got a move of 7, bravery of 6, 9 wounds, and a save of 4 up. It's got an Iron Blaster cannonball, which can fire 24 inches, 1 attack, 4s to hit, 2s to wound. Because obviously it is a giant mass of metal hitting you. -2 rend and D6 damage. That may well be your infantry killer shot there. Or you might go for the Iron Blaster Hail Shot, which is 12 inches, 6 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1 rend and 1 damage. Actually, that's probably much more decent at dealing with lots of infantry units because it's 6 attacks. The other one's probably fire that at a Cygor, take out his bloody eye. Melee weapons, he's got gunner's clubs. I mean, these guys here, they're not going to be like too amazing in damage. 3s and 3s still with 2 damage apiece, no rend though, which kind of like takes it down a little bit. That's his clubber. And then you've got 4s and 3s for the Rhinox that's pulling it. And you've got the Scrapper's Jagged Blade, who's hitting on 5 and 5, and that's the little goblin that's on there. But this is what I'm interested in, the Rhinox Charge. Add 1 to the damage inflicted by attacks made with this model's Rhinox Sharp Horns if the model made a charge in the same turn. It's just a tiny but really relevant bit of fluff that you've got an ogre on a potentially, you would assume, a stationary war cannon making a charge, because they don't do things by the book. However, I do, and this is a book, or more specifically, it's a Battletome, and that's been the Ogor Mawtribes. My words are failing me, it's very late in the day. I hope that you enjoyed my little sort of preview / hands-on with this. Am I looking forward to playing against these? No, not in the slightest, because they will chew me up and leave nothing but bones, which the Bonereapers will come along and collect, and they'll say no, and then we'll just end up in a whole thing again. I don't want to make the situation worse. Would I look forward to collecting them? Hell yes. You only need, like I say, like 10 models. I think there's 10 models in the battle box that you get, and it's a sizable point collection that you get for doing that. They're great for people who want to have a bit of fun, but not so much silly fun like the orcs. They're just kind of like, we're just big lads, and we want to have a ruck. And more power to you. I am a chubby champion, championing the chubby. I'm gonna go and eat some more. I'm gonna become one of these guys later on in life. I probably won't take my shirt off as much though. Anyway, that's been the Ogor Mawtribes. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below. Are you thinking about picking up this army? And if so, has any of the few little battle profiles that I've shown you, if that wowed you, has that convinced you to join in with the beer drinking and the ale guzzling and the bone eating, as it were? Yeah, that seems about right. If so, let me know down below. As always, I've been Jules, you have been awesome. Never forget that. And thank you very much for joining me on Live and Let's Dice.